Hello and welcome to week 2. So I guess technically it's week 3 because we had an intro and then week 1 and then week 2. So this is our third week, even though this is the second section of the launch guide. But I'm really excited to talk about inviting today because it's kind of the meat and potatoes of the business. Really learning how to strike up that conversation with someone really does make a difference in the success of your business. So I don't want anyone to feel like, oh my goodness, I'm not good at this. I can't do this. Because I truly believe that this is a good learning, it can be a good learning opportunity for everybody. But it doesn't need to be, you don't need to feel discouraged if you know, like don't feel discouraged, just keep working and improving those strengths that you've got. And I said strengths on purpose. You may think weaknesses, but we all have things that we're really good at and we have things that we're not so good at. And I think we have a tendency to focus on we're not good at. Oh my gosh, I did this business because I'm not as good as so-and-so at such and such. That's such a bad trap to fall into because so-and-so isn't good as you, is as good as you at such and such. You know, we all have our strengths and it's important to figure out what those are and to lead with them. You know, of course, always improve upon what you are good at, but lead with your strengths. All right, I'm going to share my screen. All right. So today we're going to go over good grief. I always do this, you guys. I'm so sorry, but we're going to go over making your list. So Cheyenne last week talked about getting prepared, being prepared for this. And this week we're talking about creating what you're going to do with that list. And now that you've prepared. So, you know, if you've put time into figuring out when you're going to work and exactly what you're going to do, that's awesome. Now we're going to figure out exactly what to do with what you're doing. So we're going to be talking about pages 8 and 9 of the launch guide. So you've written down your list of the people that you want to talk with, which is great. And if you're feeling like, I don't really know who to invite, I don't know who to talk to, you can go through that names jogger, that memory jogger that's on doTERRA.com, or you can just start writing down, like, just think about like, okay, who's your kid's school teachers? Who delivers your mail? Who cuts your hair? Who does your massages? Who you know, who are your neighbors? Who are your kids' friends' moms or whatever? Just get creative with what you're thinking. I'm going to go to this PowerPoint real quick. This is where I struggle because I'm trying to juggle 2 screens at once, and I do apologize. But I'm going to show you this real quick. View, review, slideshow. I always click. It's always the last one. So we're talking about inviting today. So you're making your list. So what I want you guys to make sure you have done is that you've written down a list of the people that you want to connect with, and also write down ways to find and connect with people. Because if you're feeling like, oh my goodness, I need to meet more people, then write down ways that you can meet with people. You know, I was talking to a girl last night on my team who was telling me that she had joined different Facebook groups and was just making friends out of that Facebook group and getting to know people. And I thought that was a great idea. I thought, you know what? I mean, you don't want to join on a Facebook group and spam their page. It's not that at all. But what you are doing is creating relationships. And, you know, honestly, I will tell you that half of the nannies that I have hired have ended up doing this as a business. So I feel like I'm doing my job right if my nannies who are watching me work on a daily basis want to join in what I'm doing. But my whole point in bringing that up is that as I meet more people want to do this. So if your way of meeting people online is great, if you want to meet people in groups, I wouldn't get stuck in the trap of just talking about your business online all the time and always showing the deals and the specials. Those are great. But I will tell you where you're going to get your enrollments from is creating relationships with people. So, you know, if you want to meet those people to have relationships with online, that's just fine. But you want to obviously, you know, get to know more people. So think about ways that you can meet people. Meetups are a great way. Like there's meetup.com and you can join different groups. And one thing that I really have learned this last year is, you know, I've spent a lot of time trying to conform and fitting in with whoever it is that I'm hanging out with. Like, you know what, I'm going to be like this so that they'll like me more. And what I'm realizing is, no, I need to be myself, because if I'm myself, I'm going to be more confident, because I don't know how to be anything else other than good old ornery Jenn Oldham. So the more that I'm myself, the more confident that I'm going to be, and the more people are going to be attracted to me. Now, are there going to be people that I totally repel? Absolutely. There are going to be people, I am not their cup of tea. I'm not the type of person they want to be around. I may be too high energy. I may be too much of a driver. I may be too intense, and that's okay. So instead of dimming my light and not being who I am, I need to go and find people who are going to appreciate me. So I would do that same thing with the business, is think about where are the people who are like-minded to me, like for other business owners, other people who are into natural health. You know, if you go to a group where people are really excited about the latest doctor's office that's opening in town and all the techniques and things they're doing, they may not be the people that you want to work with because they may see healthcare differently than you do. So you need to go and find your people. You know, chiropractor offices might be great, or spas. And I'm not saying doctors are bad, you guys. I love doctors and I have doctors on my team, but you need to go be with like-minded people, people who value what you value instead of you trying to convince somebody of your worth. We don't want you doing that. So write down ways to find and connect to people to connect with. And I want you to think about ways and the people that you want to work with. I listened to a training by Deb Erickson this last summer, and she was talking about how even Pepsi and Coke, the two different companies, they are advertising to two different audiences. Instead of always just saying, you know, they're appealing to a certain person, because when you try to just appeal to everybody, that's where you miss the boat, because you're not appealing to the people who are going to like this the most in trying to reach everybody. So it's the same thing with the oils. You know, when I say who needs oils, everybody, I absolutely mean that. But you also want to be careful. Like, the more that you'll find in your market and your people you want to work with, the better it's going to go for you. So who do you want to work with? Who are your ideal people? And identify that, and then find ways to meet and connect with those people. Now, you guys, I sign up all sorts of people that are nothing like me, that we're totally different. I mean, I signed up an 80-year-old gentleman and maybe he's not 80, but he's in his 70s, on my way home from England. That is not who I ever thought that I would connect with, but we do have stuff in common, you know? Like, we both love business. We both have been successful in business, you know? Like, there are a few commonalities between the two of us. So that's not to say if someone's different then you don't approach them, but really find your niche of people, because I think you'll be more successful in getting, you know, bringing people on board with you. So I want you just to think of ways to connect with more people. Being confident is also huge with this. And yes, this all has to do with inviting. If you are not using your oils and loving them, it is going to be really hard for you to try to do this business and help other people find the joy in the oils if you yourself are not loving it. I just found a blend of oils that I love. And by love, I mean, like, I'm obsessed with and would marry them if I could. Oils that are good for when you are sick. I can knock a sickness out in 24 hours, maybe 36, but I'm pretty sure it's 24. Like, I can get rid of really nasty high fever, cough, sore throat, headache, you know, chills, nausea, vomiting, all of that. I can get rid of that in 24 hours with a certain blend of oils that I absolutely love. And if I wasn't as passionate about these particular oils, it'd be really hard to get other people to use them. But because I love and I'm passionate about these particular oils, and I'll tell you what they are in a minute, I have had people come up to me and say, what was that in that blend that you love so much? And these are people that are already on my doTERRA team. They're people who are blue diamonds on my team who already love the oils. So the point is, keep using these oils and finding passion in them, because it's like you can't help but share these when you are having such positive experiences. So, okay, side note, my magic roller blends, there's 3 of them. So when you are sick, this is what you want to do. I like to get a 5 ml roller bottle, and I have the blend that is to fight the germs and the bugs. And that is 10 drops of Arbor Vitae and 10 drops of Helichrysum. And then I fill up the rest of that roller bottle. So that would mean that you could put another 65 drops of coconut oil in there. And I just put little stickers on it, an Arbor Vitae sticker and a Helichrysum sticker, and I put that on the roller, and I love it because it works really well. Then I have my chest blend, and that has 10 drops of Douglas fir, 10 drops of marjoram, 10 drops of lime, and 10 drops of brie. So that's 40 drops of essential oil. And then the last 45 drops, and I'm saying this because roughly you can get 85 drops in a 5 ml bottle. So you'd be able to do 45 drops of coconut oil. So I just fill the rest of the top with the coconut oil, and is my chest blend for any sort of cough, congestion, respiratory, if you need respiratory support. And then I've got a blend that is really good for regulating body temperature. And that is 10 drops of patchouli, 10 drops of peppermint, and 10 drops of frankincense. And then the last 55 drops is coconut oil. So I'm not measuring 1, 2, 3 of coconut oil. I just squeeze the coconut oil until it's to the top. I shake the bottle back and forth a bunch, and then we're good to go. But I am telling you, if you get sick and you use these blends, I am telling you that within 24 hours, you will be significantly better. I stand by that 100%. I love it. But it's interesting how just even being that confident in it, you guys want to go out and try that now because you're like, oh my gosh, I want to try what she's saying because she's really excited about it. It must really work for her. So the point is make sure that you are using and loving your oils. If you are just in this business just for the business opportunity, that's great. This is an amazing business opportunity, but you will find more success the more that you love and use the oils because people will be attracted to your passion in the oils. Now, don't kill them with your passion and go overboard, but they'll be attracted to your passion. So be really confident. So finding ways to connect is important. So we are going to go back now to, we're going to go back to the, you guys, I love a picture of my baby kissing me. We're going to talk about connecting with people. So now that you have your list, you're using your oils, loving them, connecting with people is huge. And how you talk to someone is absolutely huge. So in this guide, they've got some really good little scripts that you can use, connect with people that you already know. You could say something like this. How are you? How's your family? Or catch me up. What's going on with your life? I saw a post about your child not feeling well. How are you both holding up? So of course you want to customize this for the people that you already know. Maybe someone had surgery, ask them about their surgery or their move or their new baby or whatever it is. But just ask them how they're doing. Just get a conversation going. My trick in talking with anybody, both the people that I know and that I don't know, is I ask people questions that I want them to ask me. So if I want to ask them what they do for work because I want them to ask me what I do for work, I simply ask them, oh, do you work? And then they'll usually return the question and say, do you work? And I'll say, yeah, I sell essential oils. Have you ever tried them? So I honestly keep it as simple as that. I ask them the questions that I want them to ask me. So if you're meeting with somebody new, just get people talking about themselves. Ask people questions about their life that you think they will be excited to talk about. Find common ground and be relatable when you meet someone new. So people always, if you have I can't talk. If you're meeting someone that has kids, ask them about their kids. Ask them about their ages, what they like to do. People love to talk about their kids. Or ask them about their pets, or ask them about, figure out what their hobbies are and ask them about that. But the more that you connect and listen to them, the more they're going to be interested in you. Because let's be honest, we love people to ask us about ourselves and we like to talk about ourselves. So ask people things that will get them talking. And I really like the Emerge training by Tasha Smith. And I will put a link to her preview if you haven't seen it. And the reason I say preview is she does offer a whole training system that you can purchase, but she did a really good 90-minute training on how to set up an appointment. And honestly, the more simple that you can keep it, the better. And the first thing I do is, like, if I'm talking to someone brand new, is I just get to know them and I learn more about them. And then, I tell them that I sell essential oils. And let's say that they say, oh, that's so great. I've actually been really interested in those. I'll say, that is so awesome. Usually what I like to do is set up an appointment so I can talk with you more about this and get your specific questions answered. So the reason I say that is I don't want to sell on the fly. I don't want to just bombard them with everything I know right then and there and tell them all about every oil in the Family Essentials Kit. I want to set up an appointment and a time to sit down and go over their health concerns, their goals, what's going on with them. They don't care about what's going on with me. They don't want to know the entire history of essential oils. They want to know very quickly how oils are going to help them. And the best way to do that is to get an appointment to talk just about them. And I always like throwing in the caveat, because a lot of times we'd say, when you're inviting to people to classes, you do want to be careful. There is a fine line between making this comment. Okay, so I'm doing this class on Saturday, and seriously, you don't have to buy anything. But if you'll just come, that would be so great. There's a difference between that and saying, hey, I'm doing a class on Saturday. I would love for you to show up and learn more about these oils. I do want you to know that you don't need to feel obligated to purchase anything. But if you see something you like, I'd love to help you buy it. So there's a difference between being not confident and saying, don't come because then you might have to buy something, and just meet with me. I'm not going to make you buy a single thing. But if you see something you like, I'd love to help you get it. And I like that because a lot of times people are nervous to meet with you because they're worried they're going to be sold to, or you're just going to throw a pitch at them. So you do want to be careful that your confidence is in the right place, because if you're telling them they don't have to buy anything because you lack confidence and you're worried, that's one thing. But if you're telling them they don't have to purchase something if they don't want to, all you're doing is putting their mind at ease. But of course, when I meet with someone, I want them to have these oils. I want everybody in this world to have helichrysum, arbor vitae, Douglas fir, all the oils I just mentioned, because I know how much they're going to help during this time of year. So I am very, very confident when I meet with someone. When I say don't feel obligated to purchase something from me, I'm serious when I say that. But I want them to purchase because I know what these oils are going to do. So be confident when you're inviting them. Get your appointment set up. Keep it really, really simple, because the more complicated you make it, the more difficult it is. It's going to be more of a turnoff for them. So be confident. Put their mind at ease that they don't have to leave buying this huge kit. But if they want to, you'd love to help them. Because, of course, after you listen to them, and Cheyenne is going to talk more about that in the next segment, the more that you listen to them and their needs, the more they're going to want these oils in their home. So I know that was probably a little bit long and wordy, but the bottom line is learn about them. And as soon as that they show an interest in the oils, set up an appointment to meet with them. Classes are awesome. And my rule of thumb, or kind of what I do, is when I'm working with somebody brand new, I love for them to do a class to kick things off. And if they've got 10, 15 people that want to show up, or even 5, that's great. Let's do a class. But if it's going to be really tricky to get a class and you're having a hard time getting commitment, that is when you want to focus or change your focus to setting up one-on-one appointments and finding other people to host for you. So if you find yourself doing classes that week after week nobody is showing up to, that's when it's time to switch to setting up one-on-one appointments or finding hosts. When you are doing but when you have a big group that can show up, definitely do your class. But when I talk to somebody about oils, my goal is when they leave to have an event for them to attend, whether it's a one-on-one or if it's a class. Because you don't want to leave a conversation with, yeah, we should go to lunch sometime, and then not have that lunch set up. You want to have it set up right then and there. So do that same thing with an appointment. Is when people tell me, oh, my friend's interested in oils, I always want to say, oh, did you get an appointment set up? Make sure you get that appointment set up so you can learn more about them. So you'll notice in this guide, there's some other really good scripts, things that you can say. So if you already know somebody, they already know that you do doTERRA. If you're wondering some things that you can say, these scripts are really good. You know how it seems like so many are into natural wellness these days. It seems more and more important to eat better, exercise more, get quality sleep, and get rid of toxic products around the house. Is that pretty much how you are as well? What kind of things are you doing with your family? So this is just like a conversation starter, and I realize I'm reading it instead of just saying it, so it sounds like it's being read. But you don't want to sound like you're reading something to someone. But these are just some things that you can bring up as just talking about natural wellness and just ask people where they stand with it, or ask what they know about essential oils. Or you can just tell people, if you're really excited about it, which I know a lot of you are, is that oils are literally rocking your world. I can't keep this to myself. You've got to check this out. That's me. That's clearly how I feel about my little magic blends that I was just talking about. And if they're excited about trying the oils and they really do want to try something, I think that's a good time to give them a sample. There's a little bit of you'll notice if you ever listen to the Emerge training, she talks about not giving out samples. And I realized that I was using samples as a crutch. Like, oh, I gave out 2 samples today. That's great. But a lot of those people that I gave samples to would have come to my class and met with me anyway and would have purchased anyway. But what the sample did is it gave me the confidence to talk to somebody and invite them to my event. So there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to give somebody a sample, by all means, go for it. If it gives you the confidence, that's great. And there are some people who absolutely want to try the oils first. But I do want you to think about how many people you've given samples to that make the comment, oh, I haven't had time to try those yet. Or I've been really busy. I just haven't had a chance. And I'm thinking, you've been too busy to open up the bottle of Breathe and smell it? Like, man, you must be really busy. So a lot of times you give out samples and you're giving out a lot of money worth of samples and people aren't using the oils. So if you want to hand out samples, that's great. That is, and I still hand out samples. I still mail samples out. I don't do it nearly as much as I used to, and I'm getting more enrollments than I used to. But what I'm doing is I'm really, really qualifying people. So when I talk to somebody, I ask them, have you tried oils before? You know, I gauge their interest level, because I think sometimes we're giving samples to people just because we're really excited about it. And it's like, oh, we're giving them a sample and they couldn't care less, but they're, you know, graciously accepting a free gift from you. We don't want you to do that. We don't want you to invest your money in your business that way. So if someone is really interested, like, oh my gosh, I'd love to see if this will help my baby sleep through the night, give them some lavender. Or, you know, I'd really need some extra respiratory support. Let them try some Breathe. You know, experiencing the oils is always a great thing. Just make sure that you're wise in who you're giving your samples to. And you can even try to get that appointment set anyway, even without giving them a sample. And you might find, oh, I got this appointment set up without giving them a sample. So the next part of this guide does talk about connecting people to a presentation. And that's what I was saying earlier that I think is so key, is you want to make sure that you are connecting somebody to an event, whether it's a class, whether it's a one-on-one. But when you're talking to them, invite them right then and there to take the next step, which the next step for me is a one-on-one or a class. So these are some scripts that you can use to talk with people. And I won't read them for you, but because you can read them yourself. But these are things that you can do to connect them to a presentation. So they have things for a webinar, a class, a one-on-one, a lifestyle overview, which is the same thing as a wellness consult or a membership overview. It has like 25 different names, just like the family physician kit. But the lifestyle overview is a great thing to do. And I'm going to talk more about those when we're talking about supporting the S part of the pipes. When we talk about supporting, I'm going to talk more about the lifestyle overview and how I get those set up. But this is some good scripting to go over. I think the most important thing that you can do is just practice your invitation and keep doing it, and realize that people are going to tell you no. There are going to be people that'll be flat out rude to you. People will say no. There are going to be people that are just not interested in you or what you're doing. And as sad as that sounds to say, it's the truth, and it's okay, because there are a lot of people who are interested in what you're doing. They want to know more about these oils. So focus your time. If someone tells you no, it always is like, oh, like that hurts my feelings, or she just walked right by my booth and I know her from church and she didn't even say hi to me and she must not like me. Instead of focusing on that, focus on finding the people that do want to use these, and realize people are going to say no. And most people are going to say no. Most of the people that I know are not enrolled, even still. Most of my family is still not enrolled. Most of my neighbors are still not enrolled. So not everybody is going to enroll, and that's okay. But it gives you a lot of opportunity to work with a lot of people. And people come through the pipeline at different times. I signed somebody up I think I signed her up in November, that I gave samples to for the first time in 2013, almost 5 years ago. And she signed up. She reached out to me and was ready to sign up. So you always want to be positive with what you're doing. Don't dwell on it if they say no, and realize no doesn't always mean no. It just might mean not now. And for them, they may think no means no, but they may change their tune. Even the lady that I mentioned that I was at a booth, she seriously walked right by me. She waved. She was nice. And I was like, she didn't even stop to see what I was doing. Guess what? She asked me last week, she's like, hey, I think I want to talk to you and meet with you about those oils. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. She's ready to chat about oils, because I'm confident in who I am and what I do. And I didn't push her or nag her or drive her crazy or invite her to a class at my house every single week for 3 months straight. You want to be confident and invite, but you don't want to drive people crazy either. And realize you are learning how to do this business. I'm still learning how to do this business. So if at first you don't succeed, keep trying. Don't beat yourself up. Don't think that you're not meant to do this, or it's a sign or anything like that. No one showed up. It's a sign. I'm not meant to do this business. No, that's not how it works. Because if it was a sign that you shouldn't do your business by how your events go, then someone upstairs was giving me a big, loud, huge message. My higher power, I should say, was giving me a big, loud, huge message not to do this business. because nobody showed up to my first 3 events, and my first year was really slow. And I'm grateful that I didn't take that as a sign that this wasn't meant to be, because I truly believe that it was. It's just things take time and we have to learn. If a doctor doesn't know how to do surgery the first day they start medical school, that doesn't mean they're not meant to be a doctor. It means they've got to learn how to do what they're doing. They've got to perfect their skill. That is what you are doing in doTERRA. So keep trying, keep practicing. It's a really great thing to talk with your mentor and work with them and see, okay, what could I improve upon, or where am I getting stuck? And figure out how you can maybe role play or get it figured out so that you can progress forward in a way that you would like. Because we're all learning how to do this. And that's the beauty of this, is that we've got time. There's no rush. Like, you don't have to have this mastered and perfected right away. Be easy on yourself and realize, teachers, doctors, attorneys, accountants, whatever it is, engineers, they don't just decide they want to be that profession and have it mastered that next day. They go to a lot of school. They make a lot of mistakes along the way. They're learning, and we are that same way. And we need to be patient with ourselves and realizing that doTERRA's comp plan is incredible. You will not find a better compensation plan out there that pays for the long-term, like benefit, long-term benefit. You will not find anyone that beats doTERRA. There may be people that you have this quick money that's going to start fast and end just as quickly. But if you're looking for long-lasting residual income that you're like, oh my gosh, how am I seriously making this much money? doTERRA, you can't beat it. You just can't beat it. So hang in there with it if you're feeling frustrated or feeling like, I'm not getting this down quick enough, because it's worth it to learn. So I do want to open it up, see if there's any other comments or questions. I'm going to stop the recording. So thank you for joining on today. But do you have any questions or comments? Cheyenne, do you have anything you want to add?
Yes. I was just going to say, when you hand out samples, the one thing that I would tie to a sample would be, like, these samples are not no strings attached. I would definitely set up an appointment if I give out a sample, to talk to them about how they liked the sample. So then it's not just a wasted sample. It is, hey, this is something very important. I want to set up, what I usually do when I give a sample out is I set up a time to chat with you a little bit more. My part takes 30 minutes. Can I talk to you? When can we set up a time to talk about this oil that I'm giving you?
Perfect. I love it. Yes, samples are like, this is not non-committing making out, you guys. If you're going to kiss someone, you're going to have to start dating them. So if you're going to give them a sample, you're going to have an appointment set, right? But I love that, Cheyenne. That was perfect. Is there anything else? Was that good? All right. Well, everyone have a wonderful day. And find some people to set up an event with. Go get them.